Hello, this is Chef John from foodwishes.com with Harissa. And I know what you're thinking, not another Tunisian recipe, but it's okay. This is one of my favorite hot sauces in the world and one you really need to know how to make. And like most hot sauce recipes, you can totally adapt this to your personal pain threshold. So here we go. So I'm going to use various kinds of peppers. I have some red bell peppers. We're actually going to fire roast those on the stove. I have some red Fresno chilies. Those are spicy. Those we're just going to blanch along with the very hot habanero pepper and some garlic cloves. And then a very specific spice blend. I have some cumin, some dried mint, some coriander, and some caraway seeds. All right, step one here, I'm going to fire roast my red bell pepper over an open flame. All right, so we're doing two things here. We're charring the skin so it can be removed, and we're also partially cooking the pepper. So just keep turning it until the entire surface is pretty charred, and then we're going to go ahead and throw this in a plastic bag to steam. So after you rock the bells, you're going to have to let them LL Cool J down, and by doing that inside the plastic bag here, they're going to steam and that skin's going to peel right off. All right, so I'm going to let my peppers cool while I'm on to the rest of the ingredients, which basically are going to get a quick blanch in boiling water. So I'm going to cut off the root end of the garlic cloves. I'm going to leave the peel on though. I'm going to throw those in boiling salted water along with my Fresno chilies and my habanero. And by the way, some people call that a Scotch bonnet pepper. I don't, because I do wear a lot of Scottish hats and it gets confusing. So once we toss that in, we're going to wait for it to come back to a boil, and we're just going to let that boil for 3 minutes. And that's just going to ever so slightly cook and tenderize the pepper. I mean, just barely. It's also going to just kind of take the edge off the garlic. So I like my harissa very garlicky, so I don't want cooked garlic. But a short blanch like this is really not going to cook the garlic. It's just going to take that little bit of super peppery raw edge off while still giving you that full punch of garlic. And bonus, it also makes it super easy to peel. And again, that was just barely 3 minutes. At that point, I'm going to fish it out with my strainer. I'm going to lay it on a plate and let that cool enough to handle, which I didn't do. See me handling this? It's not cool. I'm burning my fingers, so I'm not sure why I kept doing it. And you can see that garlic skin comes right off the clove. All right, to prep the peppers, I'm going to cut them in half, and I'm going to just scrape out the seeds and the membranes, all right? And that's it. So pretty. And as you may know, the seeds are where most of the heat in a pepper is. So especially with the habanero, make sure you remove those. Okay, so our peppers have been prepped. Our garlic has been peeled. Our bell peppers have been steamed in the plastic now for about 15 minutes, which makes the skin super, super easy to peel off with the back of a knife. And you can rinse this underwater if you have to, although it's recommended you don't. Just peel it with a knife. You can wipe it with a paper towel, and that's it. And of course, you're removing the seeds and membranes from that too, but you knew that. All right, so all that's ready to go. And last step here, we got to toast some seeds. So in a small dry saute pan over medium heat, I'm going to add my coriander and my caraway seeds. And we're simply going to toast that for a few minutes until we can just barely smell the spice. The heat's going to bring out those essential oils, and it really does make a big difference if you heat these seeds up first before you grind it. So it might seem like a small, annoying step that you want to skip, but don't. A sauce as awesome as harissa deserves better. So when those are done, I'm going to dump them in my mortar, and I'm going to crush these with a pestle. I'm also going to add in my other spices, which are ground cumin, and yes, I could have toasted that too, dried mint, and salt, and I'm going to grind that until very fine. By the way, if the foodie in your family does not have one of these ancient and amazing kitchen tools, be sure to buy them a mortar and pestle as a gift. They will love you, and you will love their food, and everybody wins. All right, so once that's done, we're going to finish this all in a blender. So I'm going to go ahead and dump in my peppers, my garlic, and of course the spices we just toasted and ground. And then last but not least, we need a little bit of acid and oil. For acid, I'm going to use fresh lemon juice. You can certainly use vinegar. And then just a little splash of oil, but not extra virgin olive oil. You could use a light olive oil or just a regular vegetable oil. And the problem is sometimes when you blend extra virgin olive oils, because of the friction and the heat in the blender, they turn bitter. So just a light oil is better here. And then if we want, we can introduce a little extra virgin olive oil at the end for flavor, which, as you're about to see, I'm going to do. So we're simply going to puree that in the blender till smooth. You know I like to stop halfway and scrape things down just for fun. And as I just mentioned, when this is just about all the way pureed, and I think I'm like 5 seconds away from being done, I'm going to drizzle in a tablespoon or so of really, really beautiful extra virgin olive oil. That literally just gets a few seconds of blending. And that's it. Harissa. Pour it in a bowl. Taste for final seasoning, maybe a little salt. Mine was plenty spicy enough because I had those Fresno chilies and habanero in there. But if you want to spice yours even further, go ahead. I like how you're thinking. And what is this good on? Everything. You've seen me use this many times in videos. It really is a magical ingredient, incredibly versatile. A spoon of this literally in any savory dish will make it better. And you remember that old saying, once you go Tunisian, the other sauces aren't as pleasing. So I hope you give this a try. Head over to foodwishes.com for all the ingredient amounts and more info as usual. And as always, enjoy.